Hello and welcome to the Shadow Crypt for our level 11 episode of Trials of the Tempest and what trials they've been so far. We're beginning to steady the ship just a little, I think. With Samuel's help we managed to conquer the Temple of Evil 1 and 2, although Samuel spent a lot of the time dead, which leads me to conclude that maybe I could have done okay with just the Potions of Cure series, like we're going to try here, because Samuel has deserted us. I do have access to another cleric here, I guess an upgraded Samuel with a heal spell, but given the nature of this, like one room and a stop and chance to heal up and then another room, I'm going to risk it without and see how we go on. We have Ghost Touch on the cloak, so there'll be no problem with that. Nothing has changed really, enhancement or anything else wise, with the notable exception of our boots. And I'm very pleased to... Oh, I've still got the other glasses on because I was cheating using persuasion. We're up to 75% chance now to use a teleport scroll properly if we put everything on, which means the cheaty glasses of persuasion, the greater heroism. But now to have the Master's Gift always on the boots will be a nice help for XP, but the main thing there is the DR15. That's like a 1.5 times strength stone skin, always on. I can't emphasize enough, especially for a melee, how valuable that item is, especially in heroic. A lot of stuff won't be doing more than 15 when it hits us, so it'll be reduced to nothing and it's going to make us so much more survivable. That doesn't mean to say I should play like a crazy beggar, but I do think it's going to hopefully put the odds more in our favour, although it won't work against harmful spellcasts, which is where hopefully our evasion will kick in. This quest, if you don't know it, is the final part of the Necro 2 chain and is worth an enormous amount of XP, as you can see there. So much so that many people, myself included, have taken the liberty of creating what you call an opener account, like a different account with a character at level 7 or whatever that can open the final part of the chain, so it just gets purple in with him not being flagged for it, as you can see there. Oh no, it doesn't say, it just says it on entry that you're not flagged for this part of the chain or something, but you can still get in. It's known as red dooring it, I guess. So because the preceding, can't even spell sit, because the preceding parts of the chain are, shall we be generous and say, somewhat tedious, it makes sense generally, if you want to run this, to have an opener, especially if you're going to do a good number of TRs. I used this tactic plenty of times on my main account, and Purple's now having the benefit of it too. If you're not too bothered about TRing regularly, then probably it's overkill. There's plenty of XP to be found in the game anyway. So we'll buff first. It's kind of like a little maze with interconnected rooms, this quest, and I would strongly recommend, if you're going to have a go at it, to open the DDO wiki to the page Shadow Crypt instance paths. There are 3 different paths, and depending on the colour of the first room, the wiki can guide you to a successful completion. And that's what I always use. It starts when you speak to this lady down here. We have an always on blur now and an always on ghost touch, so that's great. I'm going to attempt to conserve the buffs, but this first room can be a bit of a challenge, so let's go all out here. There's a Plague Reaper there in the middle, shouldn't be too much of a problem. And you notice we're not taking very much damage, if any at all. That's the boots for the win. Look at that. And we've got 23 temp hit points from our Demon Heart Emerald too. So, happy days there. So if that's anything to go by, that's a huge difference that's made. Obviously it won't do much against the tonking 100-point crits that sometimes get done by the red crowns. So you always proceed out to the east. Hang on. I've got... do you know, this is embarrassing. It is always that way, isn't it? For some reason, you know how you get these mental blocks sometimes, like when you get a spelling thing and you look at the word and you know it's right and you think, well, that doesn't look right. For some reason, this way didn't feel like east. I know it's right. I've always got it. Okay.
One of the gargoyles above you appeared to move ever so slowly.
So this is going to need a nice boost too. We're going to end up with a load of stuff again, aren't we? Throwing in all the AoE. Watching the cooldown on the whirlwind. Cat scratch, whirlwind. Happy days. Look at that. Hardly taking any damage at all. So don't forget to pick up the gears out of the chest, because that gets you through the end sequence. The number of times I've left a gear in the chest. We have lost the healing amp of our mysterious cloak, which is hurting the amount we get from our Cure Serious potions, which is a shame, but I had no choice as the cloak is part of the Silent Avenger set from Ravenloft, for which, if you're interested, we get a bit more double strike, a sneak attack die, a fort bypass. So between the fort bypass we get from precision and that artifact bonus, that's 35, and the bypass on... Do we have any fort bypass on our equipment now? Armor piercing? We might not. But 35 isn't bad anyway. No, we don't have any armor piercing on the equipment at the moment. Okay, enough waffle. So we're in a red room with gargoyles, and the wiki says we need to go south and then west to a pyramid, and then lots of east. Okay, now these can be a bit tricky. You just have to use the backspace key or whatever your locate interactable item key is. See there, we've highlighted the chest. And get to that. You can just pop up for air if you are running low. That's the second red one, and we're going west next. Keep checking the wiki map if you're not sure which way you're supposed to be going. Gives you a... It's basically just giving you a map of the optimal route through for the first room that you started in. You've got to collect 2 gears of each different colour. So we've got 2 red already, and we're after 2 each of the other colours now. So hit the boost. Copious helpings of cat scratch and whatever that is. Exposing strike for nasty individuals, and also the whirlwind, of course. So then we said lots of east until we get to a yellow room with torches. Okay, let's have a big boost in here. We seem to have... there are some bosses along the way, like that gloom or gloam or whatever it is in there. They bring you an extra XP bonus in addition to what you're already getting for completing the quest, so that's very nice. Provided, of course, that they don't kill you. Now, I have a feeling that in a situation like this in the past, like we faced in the Tier of Dakan, we were getting absolutely mullered, weren't we? And now the only difference is we've got those DR15 boots on and we're barely being scratched.
The Shadow Knight's voice echoes through the chamber. So, you've got 4, only halfway there.
So a bit cheaty it might be, but I will happily take it. Let's hit the boost. Oh, there's a Reaper. Let's hit the bigger boost. Come on, hammer him. Now we're taking some proper damage, aren't we? Yeah, that hurts. Okay, let's take a moment to regroup here. East again. I think we must have hit a break point for... maybe at level 10 you're allowed to use more of your Reaper points for bonus HP, because suddenly we're up to nearly 700, which is great. We'll get another boost at 12 because one of the tier 5s for Tempest is a 25% competence bonus to max HP, as well as helping the offhand weapon to do more damage for us. So 12 as well is going to be, to coin a phrase, kind of a big deal. Let's try and economize the... no, we're not. We're going to hit full boost. Full boost. Where is that Reaper? I don't see the Reaper. That could be a problem. We need it to come down and make its presence known. There is... oh, we're fatigued. There is another gargoyle in the room. The Reaper shouldn't matter too much. Maybe we killed it in and amongst that melee, because I can't hear it anymore. Okay. No, there was a Reaper in that room, but it's tough luck. I don't think it can follow us through here.
From most of the fountains surrounding this room, but several are silent.
Okay, boost. Happy days. Now, if you don't know this puzzle, just have a look at the fountains above the four corners. The first one you want is one on the right here. So that's number 1, torch to light. And then light the one with one on the left there. You just ignore the fact this is lit. I think that's a bug. So you light that, and then you want the two together. You just ignore the one that there's nothing there. And then all three are lit, and we take the chest that's appeared. Okay, now the wiki is telling us west, east, and then west to the end.
Another maze. This one with
Okay.
gates.
Let's find whether the chest is in one of the four corners in this maze room, so we just have to find the corner where the chest is first. We'll get little bits and pieces chasing us round, but we have ghost touch, so the chest is over in the bottom left hand corner. Oh, and a helpful plague reaper. He didn't hurt us that badly, did he? So we're looking down there for the chest. If we can just have a moment's peace, please, people. So plenty of action here, but they're not doing too much to us, if anything. If you didn't know the tabaxi in general, that feline agility triggers when you've stood still for, well, in my case 6 seconds, but you can get enhancements in the tree to make the boost give higher speed boost, and also trigger after only 3 seconds. So there, look. It can be very nice if you like a quick moving character and have plenty of racial points or plenty of points left over to spend in the racial tree. And with all that waffle, I can't remember where I'm supposed to go. East and then west. So we've got all the things we need already, so I think we can just go straight to the west here. And how we can tell that is there should be a banner. Can you see the banner there? That tells us we've opened the way, and that's the way to the end. Let's use the Hood of Unrest here, because this can be quite nasty. Get the boosts on. Yeah. Oh, shield. Oh, they took our shield away with the anti-magic thing, whatever it was. Yeah, dispel magic. So we need to put the buffs back on. This is one of these that is quite anticlimactic in nature. The sections before the end boss are much more challenging than is the end boss himself, who, unless things have drastically changed since the last time I did this quest, is absolutely trivial. You watch, he'll go and one-shot us now I've said that. So you just unlock all the levers with the gears that you found on the way through the quest. This is the point at which you find out if you've forgotten any. Please don't let that happen to us. It's a bit of a pain in the backside to have to go back and check which one you've missed. It's not that difficult. You have an item if you don't have a DDO. This death door thing that's given to you that you can teleport back to the start room with, so you can use a shrine and you can retrace your steps in there if you need to. So just go through the steps the wiki took you through and you should find the chest that you've missed. So these four are going to attack us eventually after the bit of a speech. We do have one haste boost left. I'm going to use it in here because the boss, as I mentioned, is pretty trivial. So she attacks us first. I think we'll save the boost until they all attack us. Now, as soon as we speak to her, the four of them will turn on us. I think that's how it works. Okay. Boosting. Let's see what you've got, people. Ooh, they've got magic damage. That's not cool. Nice. So the final way is just next to the Spirit of Kala to the west. And we do still have a... Was there a rest shrine in there? There may have been. I should have probably used a shrine, but honestly, we shouldn't need it. Oh, constitution damage. That's not clever. Do you know, every time I've been in here, I've more or less one-shot this guy. Perhaps he's particularly vulnerable to casting and not too much to melee type. This is where it helps to have some AoE to get rid of the fake ones. But honestly, I never really get to this stage with it normally. So we're being found out here. I think we've... Oh no, we haven't. Crikey. So this is not as trivial as I've made it out to seem. At least not for a melee. On a caster, I've just come in there and just butchered him in a couple of shots. So I suppose it goes to show the enormous disparity in some areas between casting and melee. Or maybe it just shows that I'm using crap gear, I don't know.
Surrounding you are several more of the brightly colored levers.
How much constitution did he take off us? Not too bad. Speaking of that, I've still got to equip the... We do have potions of lesser resto. Oh, so he really didn't take too much off then, did he? A couple at most. But after the problems with the monk, I promised I would collect from the ongoing Night Revel event some of those gloomy potions of resto, usable from level 1, can remove 1 level drain, and I think it's any ability damage. They're in the bank of one of my other characters at the moment, and I keep planning to go and get them out. Hopefully I won't get found out. We're going to do the Jungle of Khyber soon, aren't we? So with the beholders in mind, I'd better go and get those sharpish, hadn't I? Yes, that sounds like a good plan. Right, well, I don't think that went too badly. We weren't in too great a trouble, and I do think that was a glowing advert for the strength of those boots. If you want to grab yourself a pair, it's the Minotaur optional in the Chains of Flame quest. And yes, I know it's a pain to get to and a pain to run, but if I didn't have a pair of these or a couple of pairs for my characters, I would totally put myself through that. And this is from someone who absolutely loathes farming. The difference they make, I can't state this enough, it's massive. So go get yourselves a pair and thank me later. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much as always for looking, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.